Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. This evening I'm gonna do a little bunny and doe update with y'all because they are growing and they are growing fast. Look at this, Butters. Your babies are taking over. I'm gonna have to get you another food dish in here, Mama. It's funny. I don't know if you can see the little wet spot on her fur that hangs in the water every time she drinks. Hi, sweetheart. But her baby... I mean, it's not going to be long at all before these cuties are weaned. What do you think about that? Are you going to be glad to have your own space? Yeah? And they're still liking to get in the nesting box. So I've been leaving it in here. They will still get in there and cuddle. And I figured that's one more space to kind of give good Butters here a nice little break for them. But look at them piling on that dish. With the frequency that they've been eating the pellet food now and the hay and drinking water, I could go ahead and wean them now. They would do just fine. But I like to wait until they're just a little bit bigger before I put them in the grow out pens. And it's not hurting anything with them being in there with her. She's not pregnant again. We won't be breeding again until probably the end of August, depending on if it's still super, super hot. We're supposed to get a ridiculously hot summer this year from what I've heard. So I was kind of nervous about Thumper and Crazy Linda. You know, they're giving birth in about a week and a half-ish. So I was kind of worried that even they might be too late and might get into two. Sorry about the glare off my glasses. It's bugging me. But, you know, we will see. I think that they'll end up being fine. I think that we're going to get them having birth and the babies will be able to grow up and be weaned, I think, before the hottest of the summer really starts. So, fingers crossed. And of course, we have Miss Tanner here. Well, you know, Mama. Huh? Sweetheart. Her babies are growing so fast, and they're all sleeping now, but they've... Oh, you can see the one in the back. They've started to open their eyes, and a few of them have gotten out and were roaming around here, which usually once their eyes are opened and everything, I don't mind them hopping out and roaming around because I know that they can get back in there if they want to. And with the weather being as it is, they're far past the point of any risk of passing away due to it being too cold if they do get out. So it's been fun kind of seeing them hopping out and starting to explore. And this Crazy Linda here is driving me up the wall. So she's a first-time mama. And she started out, I know I've mentioned it in a couple of the videos, and please don't mind the water and the food dishes. They've not had their evening feeding yet, so all that'll get cleaned up. But she had the most beautiful nest built in the box. And then all of a sudden, no matter how many times I push this up against the wall, she's been taking hay out, trying to make a nest behind the nesting box, which is risky. I don't want her, even though it's going to be warmer when she has her babies, there's too much of a risk of them getting caught on her when they're feeding, and if she hops off of a nest like that, there's a bigger chance of them still being attached to her and falling somewhere else in the cage. And I don't know that she would necessarily go and make sure they're fed if they're just randomly in different places until they're old enough to find her on their own. So I don't know. I've contemplated taking the box out until a few days before, but she's been so intent on building these nests. And even when I clear the hay out from behind there, she keeps trying to push it up, and she's visibly agitated. So I think that, like, right now my brain's brains a working. I think that what I might do is go ahead and try to take the nesting box out and see if I can't have Dirk maybe get me a couple of pieces of wood in there stabilized so that it'll still be a nesting box. She'll still have to hop over it to get in, but it'll be a little bit better at keeping the babies in once they are born. So stay tuned for that. We might go ahead and try that out. I would feel more comfortable being prepared like that than just taking the risk of her having the babies on a mediocre nest right on the wire. So, and then of course, Little Bit. What you doing with that hay on your head, silly? Did you put that there or did your baby? And they are super cute. These ones are a couple days older than Butters. Either that or they're just growing faster because there are less of them than what Butters had. But they could very easily be be weaned right now. But again, we're still waiting on our grow out pens to empty up, which will be here in the next couple of days. And it's awesome because I got to worrying about having not enough grow out pens, considering we've got Little Bit, we've got Butters, Tanner, who has 10 babies. So when her babies are weaned, they're going to have to be split into 5 and 5. We don't have any nest or grow out pens big enough to support 10 babies growing to full size. I am still intending on keeping several of Tanner and Teddy's babies. I'm just not sure how many. I guess it just depends on how quick we can get some hutches built to support them, because we are running out of space. But Thumper. Hi, Peppy. What are you doing? Thumper is being a great rabbit as always. I had to switch out her food dish because no matter how many times I zip tied it and no matter how sturdy I thought I had that little rascal could figure out how to tip it and spill all her food. So I went down to the store. Luckily, you know, we've got a lot of different dishware and stoneware down there. I was able to get a bowl heavy enough that she can't tip. So, but you can see she has started to make her nest. She even did a little bit of premature hair pulling in there, but I'm glad to see she stopped that just because, again, she's got about a week and a half. What do you think, Mama? How many babies you got in that belly? You're beautiful. She's like, I'm sick of your crap. You can just tell it that she's thinking that. Check out our potato stacks. We got some growth. Some good growth on this one. I haven't seen anything coming out of this one yet. And then we've got some on the bottom of this one. So, super excited to see those come up. I'll have Dirk do an update video on our potato ring. Didn't quite turn out how we wanted it. So, he'll give y'all an update on that soon. What we may have done wrong and what our plans are for the future for that one. But it's good to know that we're at least gonna have some potatoes from our potato stacks here. So it'll be fun when we harvest those to show y'all what can be grown out of just a little stack like that. But thank you for tagging along as always. I love that so many people can get enjoyment out of our bunnies, because I certainly do. Even though out of all my chores, they take me the longest with cage clean outs, water, hay, food, all that. It's actually what I enjoy most out of all the chores on the homestead. So we've got 50 rabbits right now, including the babies, and we'll see how many we have in a week and a half. So stay tuned, stick around, and like we like to say here on Mama Bear's Homestead and More, keep on keeping on, friends.